You teach traders around the world, and so I mean, this coming from you should you've walked a lot of traders from that initial phase to becoming a successful trader. So, what things do they need to do to get on the right track?
Well, I think there's a few basic things that are kind of critical for anyone who wants to expose their markets and expose their money to the markets and control that exposure. One is to truly treat it as a business. We oftentimes hear that, but what does that mean? It means to have a very specific logical process that you're going to use to expose your money to the market. I think the critical steps there is that you take, which is the second part, is really to take your time. A lot of people say, you got to get in this market right now because it's going to be happening. Well, I've heard that for over 20 years. There's always an opportunity. So you want to take your time before you get started. And what I mean by that also is to take your time to analyze the approach that you're going to use. Look at how it reacts to the markets that you're interested in. And that really brings me to the third area. Pick a market or a sector or a futures market that you find of interest, one that sparks your interest in the market. Take that one market or that one sector and pick the strongest stock in that sector and focus all your attention on that. Take it apart. Take your trading technique and concept and apply it to that market so that you have an idea of what it looks like when it works, you have an idea of what it looks like when it fails, you have an idea of how much risk you should take on this trade, you have an idea of how patient you should be with this trade, and it's a simple thing. All we have to do is count the number of periods from the beginning of the trade to the end. So in a clean trade, if you and I know this trade may last 2 weeks, well then we know if we're going beyond 2 weeks and this hasn't done anything, again, we're probably in a hope trade and it's probably not going to work well for us. So we want to understand how patient we should be with the trades. Oftentimes I see traders getting into a trade, waiting for something to happen. It doesn't happen, then they get out, and then for sure when they do that, it's going to happen. It's going to be in their favor. But one of the reasons why they have a tendency to do that is they're not sure how much time to give that trade. So whether we're talking about a day trade or a longer term trade, the other aspect of that is that we don't want to ask something from the market that the market can't give us. So that we don't want to say, get going when it's a time period where we have very low volatility in this market. For day traders in the U.S. time zone, it's usually between 10:30 and 12:30 Central Time, because New York goes to lunch, Chicago goes to lunch, and if you were a day trader and you're now trying to trade this market in that period and you're saying, come on, get going, well, it's not going to. So we don't want to ask something from the market can't give us, and we don't want to ask something from our trading strategy that our trading strategy can't give us.